My name is Dr. Gibson, and we're going to have some fun this afternoon. Sort of fun. We're going to talk about spiritual healing probably in a way you've never heard it before. I'm a psychiatrist. I'm board certified in psychiatry and neurology and forensic examination. But I also have had the experience and the pleasure of working with a number of what I would deem world-class healers. And in the process of training with them, I've learned a great deal about what real healing is, and in essence, how to work with people on a spiritual level so that they get better. I'll give you an example of a case that I worked with that helps illustrate some of the topics we're talking about, both on a mental level and on a spiritual level. And then we'll get right into the slides. About a week ago, I had a client who called me because her daughter's son was very angry, wouldn't sleep at night. He was about 2 years old, maybe 3 years old, wouldn't really interact with the mother in a healthy way. They had taken him to psychiatrists, and they were concerned that the child was depressed and needed to be placed on, you guessed it, Ritalin or an antidepressant. So they wanted to know my spiritual opinion about what should be done for the child. And so I took a look at the child's aura, and I asked one question. Had the mother had a series of abortions before she gave birth to the child? Because there was things that I saw in the aura that alerted me to the fact that this wasn't just a case of depression or attention deficit. And unfortunately, the mother had had 4 abortions before she gave birth to this child. So then I realized that I was dealing with a condition that I had seen before. In this particular condition, the child had been aborted previously on several occasions, and the child was still young enough that his spiritual senses were still open. The child remembered the between-life state and was angry with the mother for having aborted it. So I asked the mother to talk to the child about what the child experienced immediately before it was born. The mother called me a few days later and said that the child was better, wasn't angry anymore, wasn't even being considered for medication. And guess what the child told her? The child said, "There is no God, there is no light, and when I was in the other place before I was born, there were things like animals that were doing things to me, and it's your fault." And so for 3 hours, the child talked to the mother about what it experienced. And it gave the child a chance to release some of that pent-up anger and post-traumatic stress disorder-like symptomology that it had. Cases like that are not uncommon when you look at a case or you look at a person or a client from the spiritual perspective. Traditionally, a doctor would have given that child medication to make it sleep, but the child was angry about something that happened to it in a between-life state. That's a spiritual cause. And what I did was very simple. I shifted the focus from allopathic to spiritual. The mother wasn't that happy about it at first, but she has a better relationship with the child, and the child's not angry anymore. The main thing that happened was she apologized to the child, and the child is now much happier with her. So with that sort of understanding, let's look at spiritual healing.